That's not difficult. Hello everyone, I'm Blue Sicx and this is Blue Sicx Tarot, where we're doing a special Christmas version because it's December. It's what you do at Christmas. Christmas specials. I mean, admittedly, this pack of cards isn't specifically a Christmas pack, but it's the closest thing, I guess. But before I start, as it's the season, you're going to like these. What do you call a line of men waiting for a haircut? A barbecue. Stay, the next one's really good. What do snowmen wear on their heads? Ice caps. This is Blue Sicx Tarot. Like, share and subscribe. They don't get any better, let's be fair. They won't get any better. Right, so what sort of cards am I going to have if they're not specifically Christmas themed? Well, they are the most pleasant, smile-inducing pack of tarot I've ever seen. And it's all in the name, the Happy Tarot. Now, first of all, just look at that. That's just amazing. That's just really good. Smiles all around. That's not actually the Fool. That's actually designed slightly differently, but you've got the Fool at the front, and the Magician there. So I think it's supposed to be the Queen or the High Priestess, but we'll find out as we go along. And I've got that little lovely lady as well. Can't really focus. There you go. Focus. That'll do. Anyway, so we're going back to our friends at Scarabeo, and we're going to go through this smile-inducing pack of cards. Right, so when you first open the box, you are greeted with this card. Same on the box, it's on the cover, and once again, it always just fills me with smile. It just makes me smile. Now, the back of the card is also equally just a saccharine. It's nice, and it's one of those ones where you can have it either way. Not really fond of when they do that, but as I said, because I don't do, because I don't actually do inverted readings myself. So, we're going to start with the happiest card and work our way across. So you start with the Fool, and so as you can, basically this is a world of sweets, games and stuff. Now with this deck, it only has the number for the majors, so there is no language barrier there, so as long as you know your cards, you can do it in any language. And, and the best thing about this is not only are they really easily accessible for beginners, let's bring it out a bit there. Not only are these really accessible for beginners, these will also be perfect for kids actually. If you do readings yourself and you have little ones and they seem to be interested, this would be the perfect pack for them to start off with, because they're just so nice and colourful, nice and bright. It's always, every time I look at these, they always make me smile. And even some of the negative ones in the minors rather, they still are quite bright despite the thing. So I've got a little hermit there. You can all call in his coat. Wheel of Fortunes. See, even the Sphinx is smiling. The Sphinx is having a great time up there. And nice little happy hanged man. And even the Death card itself is a little kid in a mask. And at worst, someone's just fallen over. So it's not like anything sinister. I mean, even the Death card looks really nice and happy, considering. And even the Devil, I mean, that's not frightening at all. You can see he's supposed to be the bad guy, but it's not threatening. I mean, that's probably like the most negative looking card, but then it's kind of obvious it's supposed to be, but even that is child friendly. So you've got the stars there. See, these are all quite bright and happy. Even some of the negatives, they're still nice and pleasant. This always fills me with joy, these cards. I have used them once or twice. They don't have their own bag, so I don't really use them that often, but they're there for an occasion. Right. So now we go on to the minors. Now the miners have their own theme, as you know, as you've probably seen in previous videos. So we'll start with the wands. Now the wands, so that's the Ace of Wands. Now as you can already see, once again, nice, bright and vibrant. So you've got the symbol there, and the number there. And so each one have their own colour drawbacks. So, not colour drawbacks, have their own colour themes. So this one's nice, bright pink and yellows and reds. So, and the Ace there. And so it's all, imagine the binding, that's going to be dreadful. Those who are into your video games, this makes you think of what if Binding of Isaac, but happy. So this would kind of be what the world would look like. And so you've got a little rainbow cloud there. And so these are very much the rider way by way of the Gruffalo's child. Not necessarily in the art style, but more of just how kid friendly they are. See, nice little Pocky. That's the word. I've had those names. See, that's kind of like Pocky, like, or Mikado. The not some other words now. The not Pocky that they sell. So you've got sweets there, lollipops, all sorts there. It's really cool. So I like that one. That one reminds me of Linus from Charlie Brown. So even I mean, that's a lot of weight to bear, but it's still on the top of an ice cream mountain. Now they've got the cool cards. Now I do like, once again, they've got the name there, so you've got a little wand, what it looks like there, nice little wand. And then you've got the knight, there's little rocking horse with wheels. That's not really rocking horse wheels. You've got the queen there, and the king. Now the reason I've put them back like that is because you can line them up. I'll put it in proper view in a minute. You can line them up and they are one big picture, so they're all just kind of standing together anyway. So this is going to look horribly unprofessional, but it is essentially one big picture. And they do that with all of them. So I do think that's quite a nice little touch there. And that way, sometimes it's good to examine the majors, the court cards all together. So sometimes that is a nice thing just to kind of see them all standing together anyway. So next, we have chalices. So this one's kind of more of a light pink and a lot of blue, as you would imagine. A nice bit of purple there as well. So you've got a little, not manticore. Winged lion. I don't think winged lion's the man. Yeah, it is a man. I don't know, just a winged lion. So, as I said, these being the chalices. Once again, you've got it looks like a biscuit jar or a cookie jar, depending on what you like to call them. Could we go for another custard cream actually? Anyway, so as you can tell, some of them are mostly happy. Now, this one I think is kind of sweet because how that's usually depicted in the riders, that's a nice child's way of dealing with that situation, and I think that does it quite well. And you've got 6 chalices there. I like that one with all the 7 chalices with all the little options there in the sweet window, because that window looks sweet. Sorry, and don't worry, there's another Christmas cracker joke at the end of this video as well, something to look forward to. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, etc. And yeah, so this in my tarot group, we refer to the 9 of Cups as the smug git card, because they've kind of got everything they want. I think that illustrates it quite well with all the different flavours of ice cream, assuming it's supposed to be ice cream instead of like jelly or whatever. So it's all really, so as I said, these are all nice and sweet. So you've got a little bowl of, like a sundae, like a nice little bowl of sundae in there. There you go, that's a nice little rocking seahorse, I like that one. Fun there. Queen of chalices. One of the most happier Queen of Chalices, because some of them, in the original Riders, she does look a bit miserable. And nice king there, little rabbit. Yeah, nice little one over there. Man of the animals. So we move on to Pentacles. And as I said, so you can. This one is a dramatic difference as there's a lot of green in it. So some of these are, and these kind of stand out more just because the colours are darker, but still still a lot of vibrancy. That's it. So as you can, this one you can see the rider in that one. As I said, these are pretty much the kid version of the rider weight. So I said if you had a little kid and they were interested in tarot, well done for them, I guess. But yeah, this is the sort of thing this is what I'd kind of recommend for a kid, because it's child friendly, it's safe, it's easy to understand the picture, and it's very visually appealing. And because obviously you can come across a lot of tarot cards that are very grim, dark, and if you had a pack of cards lying around and your kid came across them, and some of the cards do look upsetting, and depending on which deck you have. And I know I've got a couple of decks that I definitely wouldn't want any kids to see, but once again they're also all done by the Scarabeo, so I don't feel too bad. So you've got a little knight there and your little rocking horse. So each knight have their own style of horse as well, because the other on the Chalices he had one on the spring, the wands had one on little wheels. So see, now that's the happy. See, that queen's really happy and cheery. I like that one. And we've got the King of Cups, King of Wands. Now I was looking at this earlier. I was trying to figure out if they were supposed to be golden coins or just large biscuits. I'm going to probably stick with large gold coins, just because kids like gold. They're told to like gold because of treasure maps and stuff. And then we go to the swords. So you can already see this is a lot bleaker already, despite the smiley cloud. So a lot of these ones are really visually dark. So it does kind of come across. Now this one I think is quite interesting because when I did tarot, this was like one of the first cards I came across in the reading, and so I always remember this card, and I like how they've done it. It does work with the aesthetic, and it still works really well with the theme. Obviously, that one's kind of more of a grim look, but yeah, it's, as I said, these are the most child-friendly cards I've ever come across. If you have seen any others that look child accessible, let me know, because I'd be more than happy to give those a look. So as I said, all of these are very, very much like the rider weight. This one I think looks pretty cool there. And so see, this one's also quite interesting because the card itself is a very negative card, but it's done in a way that expresses what's going on, but without really being too heavy-handed with it, or even too frightening, because I'd always worry some of these would be a bit too frightening for some kids. You've got the 10 there. Oh yeah, and of course these ones are like little wooden swords at the bottom there. So once again, good ad. So then you've got the Page of Swords there. And then you've got the Knight of Swords, who's on an actual teddy bear. So each knight is on a different style of horse, which I think is quite nice. Very cute. The happiest Queen of Swords I've ever seen. Nice and jolly, considering. And then you've got the King of Swords. Yeah, he looks like the kid in the playground who would want things done. He's happy until he doesn't get what he wants. Yeah, that's kind of like the rundown. I should really try and put these in earlier in the video, but as these are the Scarabeo, the card, once again, card stock, they're standard stock, so not too thick. As I said before, one of my friends from my group doesn't quite like the Scarabeo stock. So depending on how you feel with them, all the Scarabeo stock is the same. So if you like the feel of these cards, if you have the Scarabeo decks and you do like the feel of them, they all run the same way. The same with spreading, they spread nice and smoothly. So if you do like the look of these, these are ones I'd recommend, and they are really nice cards, nice, bright, colourful. As I said, easily accessible, so if you do have a kid who kind of wants to learn them, they probably do them in miniature as well. The miniatures tend to be about 2 inches tall, 2 inches by 1, no, about 2.5 inches, something like that. I don't really have any measurements on me, but they tend to be just kind of, they'd easily fit in the palm of your hand like that. So so these are probably done in mini, so if you do have kids and they kind of want to give it a go, they can have their own little tarot pack. And try and move on to a spread. Let's see. Now, unfortunately, the little book that all of these cards come with doesn't actually, it has like a 3 spread instruction, but unfortunately it doesn't actually explain what the third card is. So we shall leave that bit for now. Sorry I didn't really edit around this, but unfortunately, as I've said before, in my last video, stuff's been so busy, I've not really been able to get the stuff like this sorted properly. But as I've said before, these are really nice cards. They're definitely worth having in your collection, if nothing else, but to at least make you smile. Okay everyone, hope you liked that video. Once again, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter @Sicx. And this will be it for the Christmas season, and I shall put out another video in the new year. And but before I go, I've got an important question to ask you. Why did the turkey join the rock band? Because he was the only one with drumsticks. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Don't be the only one to suffer from these. But anyway, I'll have a new video up in the new year, because it's the new year, new opportunities, new doors open, and we all like doors, don't we? We all like doors. See you soon, and have a good Christmas. People are strange when you're a stranger. You see them when you're alone.